Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In this lesson, we're going to be discussing on whole numbers, on their numbers and numerations. So we're going to be looking at whole numbers. So in the previous class, you must have discussed on some very large numbers from units to billion. So in this lesson, we are going to be looking from units to trillions. This shouldn't be much, but I will stop at billion for now, then we continue with trillion. Now, for us to work with large numbers, we have to understand the concept of place value. Place value. The value of the position of a digit within a number is called the place value. For example, in the number 3, 5, and 2, the 5 is in 10th position. If we put this one is in unit, and this one is in 10, and this one is in 100. Now, if you look at the position of 5 in this number 352, we are going to see that this 5 is in tens. Therefore, this 5 is equals to what? 50. So, the value of these 5 tens is what? 50. So, numbers can be infinitely large. We can count up to millions, billions, and trillions. So, for us to be able to name any number, we have to understand the concept of place value. So we start from the smallest one. We have units, always denoted as U. We have tens. We have 100. We have unit 1,000. We have 10,000. We have 100,000. Now this is under hundreds. So after 100 we move down to, this is under thousands. After 1,000 we move down to million. So the next one we have units million. We have 10 million, and we have 100 million. Now this unit is under what? Million. So after million we have the billion. We have units billion, 10 billion, and 100 billion. So we can stop at billion for now. Then when you are good with this, we can continue with trillion. So let's assume that we have numbers on this. Let's assume that we have 5, 3, 2, 1. Now, what is the place value of 3? The place value of 3 is 300. 300. And the value is what? 300 in this manner. So let's look at another example. Let's assume we have 4 here, 7 here, 2, 3, 2, 1, 4, 5, 6. Now let's look at the place value of 2 here. Now if you look at the place value of 2 here, the place value of 2 here is what? 2 million. That is 2 million. So how many zeros are going to be there? We have 2. How do you know the number of zeros that will be there? You count from this place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 before you get to this unit million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Therefore you add 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there you go. This is the value of what? 2 million. So having understood the concept of place values. Now let's look at how to write numbers in words. Writing numbers in words. Numbers are written by writing digits in groups of 3. So we have units, we have the tens, and we have hundreds. So these digits are separated from the next group of 1,000, 10,000, and 100,000 by a space. Similarly, a space separates trillions, 10 trillions, and 100 trillions, and so on and so forth. So when we write numbers in words, we use commas to separate the words of each group of each digit of the 3 digits. So this is a group. This is a group. This is another group in 100. This is another group in million. This is another group in billion. So when we have something like this, we use comma to separate them. So supposing we have an example like this: 3, 4, 1, 5, 7, 6. So how do we call it? We can only be able to call it by knowing the place value. Now this one is in units, tens, 100, 1,000, 10,000, and this one is what? 100,000. Therefore, if we are going to call this, we start from this place. We say 341,576. 341,576. So since this is a segment, this is another segment, we can put a comma here. So let's look at another example. Let's assume that we have something of this: 1, 2, 3. How do you call it? This is what? Units, tens, 100, 1,000, 10,000, then 100,000. So if we are going to call this will be what? 500,000. So similarly, when you have, let's look at something much more complicated. We have 15550,982. How do we call this? If you look at the place value, this one is units, this one is tens, this one is 100, this one is 1,000, 10,000, then this one is 100,000, then this one is what? Units, million, this one is what? 10 million. So if you are going to call this, so this, we put a comma here, we put a comma here. This is one segment, this is one segment under 1,000, and this is segment under what? Million. So we have what? 15 million, 550,000, then 982, 982, 982. So it is very, very easy. I'm going to send an assessment now for you to write the following numbers in digits. I'm going to send it to you. Please try as much as possible to attempt them. Someone.